Welcome guys to the daily Crazyhouse arena of this Wednesday. It will be another 1.5 hour of 5+0, and we are first seed, so I'm trying to get a win in this time around. And we will start in about 40 seconds with the first one. And already we have some strong players joining as well. Firehawk, also one of the regulars in these tournaments. Greg Rogers, Aha Tokia, Kafune.
9, 8, 7, 6,
Most
5,
of these players
4, 3, 2, 1,
are well known
0.
to these arenas, and you've probably seen them before in these videos. Alright, we'll start with Firehawk. And Opper even playing. Going knight bd7, so bishop b5 is not that much of a threat, or annoying rather. Okay, knight c3, probably relocating the knight on c3 to g3. Don't really see a way how to take advantage of that, so just going h6, forcing bishop h4 or a trade, and delaying pawn at h6 later on. Now maybe I could go bishop g4, knight g3, bishop takes, e5. Let's go for that. Expecting knight g3 to be able to preserve the pawn structure. But well, he might be maybe may concede to taking with the pawn. Okay, he takes with the queen, so we go e5 and maybe e4. And if he takes, my knight gets activated. And of course, he can try to trade on f6 and then use this h7 square. But on h8 I'm perfectly fine, since the bishop is no longer on g5 threatening these dark squares. You should take here in between. He doesn't have to actually. Queen h7 is a mating threat, so I can't take the bishop on h4. So going knight at f6, so if he trades, this knight gets activated and I'll still get an attack on the queen. Alright, queen at b7. Bishop looking at g2, attacking the queen. And he might think about taking my rook and then try something here. But with the knight on f6, I should be fine. Maybe queen. I thought queen takes d5 could be an option, but he needs a rook in hand for that to work. With rook at g8 take, and then maybe some stuff on h7. So probably he will move his queen now. And then I'll have to look for a new idea. Maybe just harass g2. Maybe knight takes h7. Don't know yet. Maybe just harass the queen even further. I think the only safe square for the queen is b5 or a6. And rook b8 is then possible if queen b5, for example. Or if queen a6, I could go queen a6, I could go knight b4 and remove this bishop from the attack. You could also try dropping a piece on c6 maybe. Pawn at c6 for example. Okay, he goes with the knight. Attacking. Probably need to trade this. Let's do that and go knight at b4 anyway. So we still have the fork and remove the attacker. And then maybe I can just take pawn at h7 at some moment. And he also has to think about where to put his queen. That's also not easy. For example, queen f3, I'll take this one, and bishop at g4 attacks the queen again. So, but you also don't want to play queen a4, but because then the queen is rather out of place. Okay, so he goes with queen b5. Alright, bishop at e4. Seems like a very multi-purpose move. Could also just take this one. Let's go knight at f5 first. This one I can also take with the king, and the bishop on g2 seems like a good idea. Alright, now we take and just try to consolidate. He'll try to put pawns. I'm kind of baiting him to put a pawn on f3, and then the rook will no longer be in play. But he doesn't fall for that. So pawn at f2, blocking the f file for the time being. Thinking about knight takes e5 here. You could take this one, and then I'll take. Looks interesting. Let's just try that. And if he takes, I can take the bishop. Alright, he goes for this. It's fine as well. Let's set up a little trick here. You cannot take this because knight takes g3 is mate. And now we forced pawn at f3, and now we get away in. I think I'll just take the rook on f1. And now take f3. Because now there are a bunch of threats, rook at d2 for example. Bishop at g2 is a good move. Let's just be safe. Maybe I've allowed pawn at f6 now though. That's a bit unfortunate. Bishop should have been on g4, I guess. That was the better option. Alright, we'll have to find a way to defend against this. If I take pawn at h5 and just step aside, then knight at h5. Okay, I'll take pawn here, just step aside. Knight at h5. I may have I thought knight at h5 is nothing, but knight at h5 is just winning. Okay, he doesn't play it. That's a bit lucky for me there, because I think now I have time for rook at d2. On h8 I'm safe, for at least a move. I'm threatening to take the queen, pawn at d3. just take. And let's see, pawn at g7, just be safe here, and a knight will be very strong. I'll take this. Let's see, I think this is mate. There we go. Yeah, mate in 2. Take the rook, and then he has no useful blocker on e1. Just I just take it. But he missed knight at h5 there before. It was that was a bit of a slip by me, walking into that, but luckily he didn't see it. Because there was just no way I was going to cover the mate on h8 there without, maybe even there was no way, but even if there was, I should have lost a lot of material and my attack was not that good anymore. Alright, so tough game, first one. Salah Goma is up next. That's Berserk. Alright, pretty standard stuff. Thanks, Yappy. Going bishop e2 to defend f3. And just rook e1, I think. Queen a4, maybe invite bishop at d7, and now the queen has some scope on the third rank, as well as looking at b7. But I think let's just be safe first, and then we'll think about taking pieces. Knight at h5, preparing pawn at g5, and then I can take on g7. Alright, this is looking good. Kind of want to sacrifice here, but I think it's just a bit too early. So let's just develop. Thanks for the follow, Make Heltal. Alright, I'll take. And go knight d5. Opening up the queen again. The queen is doing a good job here on third rank. You could try pawn at f3. That might be a good move. But probably I'll just ignore that and go pawn at h6. Okay, he goes back. Maybe he wants knight d4, but I think I'll just take the bishop and see what he wants to do with this knight move. I guess he did not notice that the bishop was on. Now I'm trying to force my way in here. I'll need a knight or a rook. So a knight on h6 will be very strong. A rook on h8 also seems strong. And in the meantime, I'm just putting pieces on the board. Knight at h6 is now a mating threat, as well as probably bishop takes g6, h7, and then some knight takes. Okay, this is also allowing mate in 1. Prevented the knight drop on h6, but opened up the pawn on h7. Okay, Adham 2005. Playing very quickly. It's already identifying this gap here, so maybe I can make use of that. Let's go bishop f5. Because the queen, I feel like the queen is a bit vulnerable. He's already moving his queen again. This is not ideal queen placement. Bishop g2. Maybe I should take on g3. Now I'll have the chance. Because now his king is awkwardly placed. He wants to trade queens. Okay. If I take the rook after, I think I'm safe here. He only gets a queen, so he can't drop it on e7 since this is fine. So I'll take it. Okay. I thought he was going to take my queen, but he decides against it. I could take c2 here, but then he will just castle. So I'll try to make something happen quickly. And now I have threats on g2 as well as on d2. That's looking interesting. Getting the two queens in. Bishop at h3 probably, yes. And now the queens line up. And next pawn at g3 probably will be enough. I think he has find some way to defend the bishop on f2. Of course you cannot move the bishop, for example bishop e1, because you can just take on g2 twice. He has only knights, so knight at d6, knight at c7 are the checks that maybe could be working, but I don't think so. So okay, he goes rook h2 defending this one. Then we'll just harass the rook. Still only knights in hand, so I can take the rook and go rook at g1 and just ignore this. Knight and a pawn, e7 is covered. You can try knight takes e6 maybe. I'll just take, and there is even no knight at f7. This queen is looking at home as well. So rook at g1, take will be made, or take here and pawn at g3. Okay. So this game is over, I feel like. Adham is maybe trying to find out a way, but there's just too many threats. Okay, he goes for this. But then now still rook at g1 is strong. Alright, let's finish in style. Okay, so trataredeganart off to a very good start. 16 points in under 20 minutes. So we'll have to battle with him. But first few games looking good. Getting a good level. Right. Furor 88. Let's see. Going with bishop f5. And c6, okay. Immediately that signals to me that I may be able to use this square. So I'm trying to trade a knight, and then knight at c7 is one of the ideas here. That's sad to hear, J82. He had to sacrifice the queen there, I feel like. I think knight takes d5 now. And pawn d6. Can't be stopped. And the knight is covering e6 as well, so opening up the king does not work there. Alright, quick victory there. Thank you, Make Hell Tell. Glad you enjoy it. Okay, that was a quick win. And now we have Ahatokaya. Let's go e4 against him. Okay, he goes d5. And bishop g4, alright. Now there is this idea of knight e3 and then you take this knight. Okay, he does not play like that. So we'll have something else here. Let's go bishop c4. Because now I'm threatening bishop takes f7 and knight e5. Okay, so he goes bishop h5. Maybe just pawn g4 now. Or g4 even. Well, g4 probably is a bit too bold. So let's just go g4 and then h4. The problem is that if you take, I'll take back, queen, then bishop takes f7. You cannot take f7 because knight e5 then. That's a lot of arrows. But the queen will be on g4 and then the knight will come to f7 to fork in the end. So you can't really take on g4. Or you have to go king d8 with the queen being on g4. That's possible, of course, but then the king is a bit out of place, I feel like. Okay, so he just sacrifices a piece. Try to get safety. But if he sacrificed a piece, that means that I can just sack on f7 and not even be down material. And that feels like a good thing. Okay, king e7. I think that's a good choice. Otherwise knight d4 would have come in with check. Okay, let's go d4, sack this bishop as well. Maybe d5 later on. And mainly also pawn at e5. To control these squares and maybe get bishop g5 as a resource. Alright, knight e4, designed against bishop g5, I guess, and also defending f6. So let's go bishop at h4. Now, alright, we can repeat this position. Pawn at e5, pawn at g7. I'll do it once. That's alright. He does not use the pawn just yet. Let's go king f1. c3, then knight at d3 probably is annoying. Now queen e2. Looking at these two pieces. And if the knight moves, then this will be interesting with the queen on the e file as well. But I've invested some material here, so my opponent maybe will be able to use this extra piece somehow. Okay, knight at c3. Okay, let's first get out bishop a3, give the rook access to this back rank. Take c4 with check. Okay, let's just put pieces on the board. I think king f7 is a bit of a mistake. e6 now leads to mates. You can't run here because the knight is covering, e7 is covered by the bishop, so you have to run either there, either to e8 or g8, and then pawn at f7 is made. So you had to run to d7, c8, that was the safe option. And then I probably would have retreated my queen or something like that, or maybe to b3, cover the bishop. Alright, but time trouble was coming for both of us as well, so maybe you wanted to get out a quick move there. Alright, we're on 20 points, getting the lead. And looks like the number 2 guy is losing, so that's good news for our tournament position, but probably we'll have to play him next. Yes, there we go. And he has white, and he has beaten me the last 3 games in Monday's arena, I guess. So we'll see. Decided not to berserk, use my 5 minutes. Alright, but he will try to get in e5 at some stage, probably, or d5. And I will try to open up this diagonal. That's a bit of the game plans here. Tempted to sacrifice here. But probably it isn't good, so just pawn at g4. Take with the bishop. And now with the knight e5 is of course possible. Okay, he goes for pawn at g6. Let's take that. Make the bishop go to g6, because you want a knight on g6 with white at some stage, pawn here and then knight on g6, for example. And I will try to take this queen with check somehow, or keep harassing the queen. He can go queen takes e6, but then I'll just block with pawn at e7, or maybe even just step aside. I think queen takes e6. I'll just step aside. Knight at f7 is possible. I'll have to sacrifice my queen then. Pawn at e7 is also possible, but I can take here and then I'll have my mate threat. With knight at h3. Okay, he's going for it, so he feels like it should be winning, but knight at h3 is not mate. I just spotted it as I played the move, but okay, well, what's done is done. We'll see then how he converts this. Pawn at e7 again. I believe I can take that. If you take knight at h3, this is a mistake by him, I feel like. He granted me a chance here. He can still go knight at f7 and then I have to take and he can take. So I'm not winning the queen, but this pawn on e7 is no longer a threat now, since the queen has to remain on e6. Alright, knight at f4, threatening queen, and knight at h3. And he would really like to play knight at g6 now, but he has no knight in hand. Because knight at g6 will probably lead to mate for white. So this is looking tough for white. And there's also, of course, me taking the queen and then mating on h1. So he really has to find something here. He might try rook at e8, something like that. A rook at c8 is coming. Okay, let's see what it does. If I take with the rook, he will sack probably, take, and then go queen at e8 or something. I think I'm fine as long as I'm not giving him a knight. I'll take with the bishop, I guess. Oh no, I'll take with the rook first. We'll see. Maybe he has some brilliant idea here. Alright, I'll take the queen. Expecting rook at e8. Ah, rook at h7. Wow. I have to take it with the queen. Okay, this is well thought. If I go king h8, rook e8 is mate. So I have to take. Maybe he's onto something here. Knight at e5. It feels like he's lacking just a bit of material. Knight at e7. Where to move? King h7. Where does he drop the queen? Queen at g6, and then he takes g2. Okay, but that's fine. Okay, let's see what will be coming. Thanks for the follow. It me and then some more letters. Thanks very much. Okay, bishop at b7. I feel like. King h7. It's very tricky. And my idea here to play knight at h3. That's the threat. If you take queen at h1, and if you don't take, you have to move your king, and then I can take your queen with check. Okay, knight e4. He's finding all these crazy ideas. And they all seem to just work. Alright, we'll go with knight at h3. And we'll see what happens. Tough. I feel like I need to put some defensive pieces. Knight f8 stuff. It's looking scary. And I feel like this knight should be on f6 guarding all these important squares. Okay, now we can take on e4. Now I think I got this. Queen takes g7 is not possible because of the pin. Okay, this should be good enough. Take. Bishop at f5 is coming, most likely. Yeah, I'll just... He's still finding ways to harass me. And now I have to watch my time as well. Okay, we got him, but we have to move fast. Just in time there. But he put a lot of pressure on me with the little pieces, and it was tough to work out all his threats. He was throwing his last resources at me for about 20 moves in a row there. But in the end, the material deficit was just too much. Okay, so that's an important game for the tournament standings. Happy I did not berserk that one and took my time. Saul's boss. Up next. Going for e6. Alright, I'll play some e4. Thanks, hashtag bad. Okay, playing a bit creative here. The idea is that he made a lot of moves with this knight if he takes it. I will be a bit cramped, but well, even now it's already not that bad anymore since he allowed d takes c3. And I can take this knight if I want to. I can also just ignore it because it has no retreating squares. I'll probably just do the second one and go bishop at g5. And this is slightly awkward. You have to go pawn at f6 maybe, or f6, then I can take. Then his structure becomes open here, and he only has this knight on g2, and these pieces aren't playing yet. And look at my pieces. This queen isn't doing anything just yet, but I have 3 pieces developed here. And the reason why I'm going with bishop at g5 is that otherwise, let's say I move this bishop to g5, then knight at h3 wins the piece, since it's only one time. But now knight at h3, I can just take that back with this bishop. Alright, now we kind of have what we want, which is going to be pawn at g7. And then bishop takes h7. And the queen is blocked off from h4, so knight h4 is no longer possible. And this is just well, not fun to deal with, let's just put it like that. Going queen at h5, making him play knight at g6, basically. If pawn at g6, the knight just hangs. Okay. The knight doesn't hang. I almost went for it. I almost failed to see that if I take on h4, there's a fork on f3. Okay, let's see. That's a bit of a bad miss. because he's threatening mate as well now with knight at f3 stuff. Okay, that's that is an oversight by me. He can just win the queen now with knight at f3 and pawn g2. Okay, so we'll have to be resourceful here. Try to make the best out of this bad situation. If you take, I'll go pawn at h7, try to win the rook. So he ignores that. So let's go pawn at f7, threatening to promote to queen. Ah, he missed this. This is good enough for mate. You have to take every time, because the queen is also covering d6. So you have to take with the rook, and now you have to take with the queen as well, and then I'll have enough material to mate. Oh, queen at f7 was mate in one, but okay, we'll get there. Yeah, a bit of an oversight there, but luckily his pawns were just so messed up that bishop takes g6 was probably even winning, also objectively speaking. Okay, Firehawk. Let's go d5. I feel like d5 is important. I also like to play bishop b7 system, but you have to pick either way just to try to control this e4 square in some manner. And Firehawk, usually I've seen this before from him, this type of play. He likes to go for this. h3, g4. It's a bit weakening his h4 square, for example. h5 will be available for me. But okay, maybe he's onto something here. Let's just take with the bishop. If he wants to go bishop at d7, I'll just step aside. Maybe I can take even. Probably not. This is annoying. I underestimated this. King f8, bishop takes c6, surely. But then, let's try to figure this out. Queen takes d7, trade, knight at c5, king e8. Not a fan. Alright, let's try to find something else then. Let's try to make this work. King f8, bishop takes c6. I think we have to just go for king f8. And we'll see what happens afterwards. Queen takes d7 is too dangerous. And king e7 is also not that good. And we'll see what he plays. Okay, going for bishop at g5. That does allow knight e7. Preserving this knight somehow. Firehawk is grinding me down. Rook g8, take. Right, let's go for that. Take with the king. Ah, he pre-moved. He shouldn't have pre-moved. He was expecting rook takes, obviously. But I wanted to go king g7, king h8, and then hope, pray for safety there. But now he still has a very promising position, but he has to be careful now. Queen d2, bishop g5, pawn at f4, most likely. But I guess we'll have to accept that. If I take, he comes in with the queen. So let's just play bishop at h4. If he wants to repeat the position here, I'll be happy to. At least once. And maybe I will be able to work something out. Knight at f6, but obviously he does not want to repeat. And who could blame him? I think he is in a good position. Okay, he wants to take the rook. And then go rook at f6 maybe. Okay, so I'll go knight d5, try to take this one. And the good thing is that if the queen moves to g8, it's still covering. But, well, he could go he could go rook at h5, yes, winning at least some material back. And bishop at h6, bishop h6 is coming. Okay, king h8. Looking very tricky. Queen takes d5 probably is very strong. Removing the defender of e7. But he played it, he mistimed it. I think he can take it now. There's no bishop to place on e7. But I'm still in a lot of trouble. Bishop take g7 just probably is strong. Okay, going with the distant bishop, making me use the blocker. And then maybe take and go knight f5. But I think just take g7 and pawn at g7 is good as well. If he lets me get in bishop, knight this bishop, then maybe I will be able to hold. Because there is just no mating idea. And I have now some counterplay. He really wants to go bishop at g6, bishop at f6, of course, and just repeat stuff there. Queen at g2 now, threat to be that has to be dealt with. Knight at f3, next threat. Okay, but he's defending. He is using all his resources though. Trying to figure out what he's going to do and then plan my next move in advance. And I want to go bishop at f4 here to break up some of his defensive pieces. Ah, no, I should have not have blocked that like that. And lost some time. Well executed by Firehawk, the flag there. And in the end, the position was already lost as well. And he deserved to win that as well. He had an overwhelming position and he missed a bunch of mates. But he was just outplaying me. Alright, so that leaves me in second place again. But, well, I think the top three here will decide who will get the first. I don't think this from fourth place down they'll have enough to get back. And I'm going to take the risk here by berserking. Let's go e4. Try to go d5, maybe close off this bishop, or just maybe e5 as well, possible. Okay, b5 was of course luring me away from the e-pawn. But this happened before. I selected the knight still, so this is probably just resignable instantly, this mouse slip. And it bugged again. Well, that's probably my own fault with my poor mouse skills. And just that's game over instantly. I can trust him to win that, and I don't want to waste any more time of the tournament clock and just try to get in the next game as soon as possible. And it happens sometimes, these mess ups, how you want to call them. Right, 5 points behind. And Chuck Lamagne. Going for the French here. Let's go bishop e7 and try to go h5. Bishop d7 as well. Expecting knight at h5. He goes h4 himself. Okay, so there are no h5 ideas for me. Therefore, just bishop here. Take f3. Take h4 next. Now he's getting in at g7 though. So I'll defend. Probably he will harass this knight next. Alright, he does not. I'll go rook at h1 then, just to make him use the knight on f1 basically. And also looking at a h5 as well. Okay, so he brings the knight back to defend. I could take with the king as well, yes. I forgot about that one. I was thinking to go pawn at d2 and just... But now my knight is safe again. Now I can try to get an attack going. Maybe go queen h4. Yeah, let's try queen h4. And pawn at h3 was... The idea is that he can go rook takes h3 and I can just take and sacrifice. And then go something like knight at f3. Threatening mate on g1 and winning the queen back. This is actually running into mate in 2. Rook at h2 and pawn g2. Okay. Bouncing back with the quick win there. And a little over half an hour to go, so we'll still have a chance at first. It's a slow hand though, very strong performance, winning all of his games. Looks like he's having trouble now though, against the number one. And Old has been playing as well, coming in strong with only one loss. And he might be able to string together a few wins. And first we have draw bush, or bush, whatever. Let's see what he opens. e4. Let's go d5 and e6. The idea of this is that you sacrifice a pawn for activity. Basically, you're ahead in development, and you try to use this early pawn to harass him. And for example, he could try to harass me here with pawn at b5, but then I'll just move my knight back and say, well, you've wasted a pawn. Look now, for example, pawn at g4 is annoying. The knight has to move back to g1. There were no squares available, or he had to sacrifice the knight, also possible as well. Now he's going e3, d4, I guess, at some stage. And I could take, and then with the bishop again. Could also just go bishop b4. And let's preserve the material. Trade the knight at h4. Maybe good. Yeah, let's go for that immediately. Almost forcing bishop f1, or bishop at f1. Now queen d5. And you see, I'm down material, and he might be able to find his way out of this mess or this position. But black has just free development for just one pawn, basically. So that's one of the benefits of this e4 d5 bishop takes e6 system. There are of course other ways to play that as white. You don't have to accept the pawn immediately. One of the main lines is actually here is bishop b5 to force c6 or something like that. So that's something to keep in mind. Alright, but here he's just in a really tough spot. Most of his pieces can't move, so he has to go for something like e4, yes. And I think I'll sack. Yes, let's just sack. Recreate the threat of knight takes g2. Maybe go pawn at e3 and threaten f2. He could try something like pawn at g5 or knight at g5 here. Okay, he goes knight at g3, a little more defensive. Now I'll take. And knight at e3. My queen had no squares left, but that's fine. Harassing this knight, because d5 is a bit annoying. And if this knight gets removed, let's say to g2, then d5 is no longer a viable option for white. And he only has a queen, so for example queen at a8 just block with the rook, and then the queen is trapped actually. He would like pawns to go pawn at a6, so maybe sacrifice on g4 and go pawn a6 is a good idea here. But he decides to go for this one. And I'll just put a bishop on g5 here. Go pawn at e3 next, maybe. And now definitely go pawn at e3, because he just voluntarily opened up f2. And I'll take that. This is a mating threat, so he has to do something about that. Take knight at h3 and rook g1 is the mating idea. Okay, so he takes. Now let's go g3. I have some idea about this. To go knight at h1. The king can't move up. Only move. And now with the pawn and the rook I just gained. I find the mate here. With the knights blocking the king. Alright. Number one keeps winning. And as long as he does that, he will be fine. And we'll see who will come up next in the pairings. I guess the... Okay, all has been. It took a bit of time to find the pairing. Let's just keep berserking, try to win the tournament. And this seemed to be the one and only Gnash. And if you are playing Crazyhouse or Bughouse for some time, you probably will know this name. One of the best in Bughouse on Fix in the old days, and probably still is playing Bughouse. Alright, knight at e4. Queen e1. Yes, let's just go queen e1. Was thinking about this and take here. But the knight is covering e2, so there is no knight fork. He could go for this, yes. Okay. This is winning the queen, basically. And will give me some trouble. But I might have some ideas with knight takes e6 or bishop at g6. And he's realizing he has to be careful. Knight at g5, good move. Defending as well as attacking. I have a lot of bishops, so let's just use one here. And maybe get some knight takes c6, bishop takes, something like this. Some defense in. He might just run to f8. Okay, he does not. Then I'll take. Watch out for knight at f3. I guess that's coming anyway. He's seeing more than I am at the moment. 92 maybe. f3 is just a big weakness. And for now it's the only weakness, because h3 is covered sufficiently. But f3 is just huge. I have to watch out for that the rest of the game, I think. Yeah, 92 coming. I'll add an extra bishop. He can take the rook now if he wants to. Get even more material. If he does not take the rook though, there might be some knight takes e6 ideas. Not entirely sure. But his light squares look a bit weak. Okay, I'll have to take back because queen takes h2 was on, and I like this bishop to keep an eye on f3, and I don't want to allow knight at h2, so just taking back with rook. He has to watch out for knight at d6 now. Okay, so he places a bishop on his own. Let's see, knight takes e6. What does that do? Let's just go for it. I don't have that much time left. Good thing for me the one thing I got going for me here is that he doesn't have any pawns, and he has to sacrifice pieces to get to them. There are no easy pawn trades, and that's the one thing holding this position together, I think. For example, pawn at h4 is already annoying, something like that. So I'll have to try. I could go for pawn g6 for example, but then he could just trade pawns and maybe use that pawn to attack with later on. The idea is now that he moves his queen if he wants to, then I can take d6, then I can take a8 maybe, or go bishop at e5, some more defensive measures. Knight at d2, alright, what is the idea? Knight takes h3 maybe. have time to think about the consequences. Okay, it was just sacrificing the material. There might be some weird sequence with, yeah, I was just thinking about that, with knight takes h3. And he's in. Okay, he's in big time. Queen mates. It's mate in 1 because the knight is covering here. Okay. He finds a better way. Or another way. Good game by Old Has Been. Oh, that's actually a sad one, because if I would have won, I would have been within 1 point. But yeah, Old Has Been a strong player. Alright, Vadim Sernov again, also one of the regulars in these arenas, blitzing out the opening moves. Feel like sacrificing my queen here. Let's just go for it. One of the benefits is that I have e3 under control. And I do get some material for it, so. Even knight at g4 would have won the queen back immediately if I wanted to. Well, not entirely. It does now. Okay, knight takes c7. Let's not be worried about that. King moves to either d squares, then pawn at f2, and then the king moves to f1, and then knight e3. Winning the queen with check. You can't take it actually, because if you take, bishop at e3 is mate. So yes, he decides not to take it. Good call. Bishop a5, covering c7, letting him take the knight if he wants to, but he does not. Alright, I'll sack the queen again for a rook on f1, and now this is tough to stop. Knight at f2, mate in 1. Yeah, I'll play. I will play you a couple GS after the arena. Let's say play 4 games or something like that. I'll take some time. I do have to work tomorrow though, but I think I can squeeze in 4 games. Some 3+2 or something like that. If you would like that. Alright, nice. Alright, Firehawk V again. I have to watch out for this queen e1 idea if he has a bishop on g4 trading. Ganesh just took me down with that one. It's a nice idea. Let's go bishop f4. Look at c7 maybe. Maybe bishop at e5 next. Okay, already denied. Then knight h4. threatening to take and then take on e4. Just both players are very solid here in this position. Setting up a little trap. If you castle, I can take this one. It gets spotted. Bishop takes c6 is now on. And if you defend with knight at d8, I can trade and go knight at f4. And basically, I can still go knight at f4 now. Expecting bishop at f7. And now I need to go make something happen. Let's go a4, a5. Okay, let's still go a4. And e4. Maybe I shouldn't have gone a4, just leave the knight on b6. But it was covering d5 and I may want to do something here. Take d5 for example. But I guess just now pawn at d5 back is solid. The one thing about what a5 did is it does open up pawn at b7 at some stage. For example, now maybe let's go pawn at d5, arrest the knight. If the knight moves, I take f6 and go pawn at b7. And I've won some material. Alright. This knight though. I think this knight deserves to be saved. This is not to be allowed. Maybe rook takes c7 next. He can castle actually, but he probably wants to use this rook on the h-file. But rook takes c7, bishop takes c6 might be annoying. With the king on e8. So maybe just king f8, king g7 is actually a fun idea. But he goes for the attack immediately. Alright. He has no pawns left. Using that fact to make him block here with the knight. That's just another attacker that can't be used. Okay, I'll take. Just move the king to h1 if he tries to get in here, and f2 is guarded sufficiently. So now I'll try to counter. Thanks for the follow, Arkmaster, 22 golds. Alright, that's a free pawn basically. On d7 and opening up the rook. Okay, time is coming in. Alright, let's take this one. Thanks for the follow, Robson981. Appreciate it. Threat is now to take on f7. Guess you could go pawn at h2, trade queens, knight takes g3. But I think rook takes f7, knight at g5 is strong enough. Not entirely sure. I I guess he disagrees. Alright, let's try it. King g7, only move, I feel like. Yes. Now I get a rook. And that will be enough, since the king is trapped here. If you had taken with the rook, then rook at h7 was made. Okay. Happy to beat Firehawk there. A bit unlucky with the streaks there, but okay. GD Howard. Let's try to win a quick game and maybe we get a shot at tournament victory, but we'll see. Let's just focus on this one first. He's developing a bit slowly, so I'm just first mobilizing all my pieces and then I'll try to create something. No pieces dropped yet, so it's almost looking like a normal chess position here. Ah yes, just the pawns here, but basically it's still in the early stages here. Okay, I'll do this. Pawn at h2. And get a rook in, or win a rook for this knight. Knight at f2 forces rook takes f2. Okay, rook at e1. Maybe he will give up his queen. He does. Okay. Now we need to find a good one. I'll need a couple of pawns here to get in. So let's just go knight d4, very aggressive. If you take, I can take this one and I win a pawn with check, since the check comes available. So probably we'll see, I don't know, something at g3. And if this pawn opens up to here, there will be lots of threats. Okay, queen at h4. Have to defend against knight at h6 stuff. Rook takes g7 was also coming. Right, I'll take this. Could have sacrificed the queen maybe first. I think I'll go for that one now. And then just take d4. And he has a lot of pieces in hand, but the position on the board is now in favor of me. If he can use these pieces, he will be better, but I'll need to get something quick. But g3 is hard to deal with, I guess. I'm pretty much just all in here. Let's just go g5. Very risky, but might pay off. Probably king g3 is fine. King g3, pawn at f4, king h2, pawn, and I have no pawns left. He could have just gone for that, but he decides that he wants to help me, which is of course generous. Because now I have mage in a few moves, I feel like. King f3, queen f5, queen takes f4, king e4, pawn at d5, king takes, queen c6. Yeah, I lucked out on this one. My attack was a bit of a bust, but he fell for it anyway. And that's sometimes all it takes, just bluff your way through. Alright, 4 more minutes, 6 points behind. That's at least 2 games. So I don't think I will be able to clear the first place. Probably just 1 more game. Alright, Kafune. Let's go. Let's try to pull off all the tricks. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Getting a quick win in. So there might be a chance after all. To get another game in before the tournament finishes. Yeah, Kafuna kind of suicided there with h5 and bishop g6. Alright, slow hand. Please don't play slow this one. Alright, bishop f6, going in hard, strong. Don't know if what I'm doing is good, I'm just trying to play fast moves. And beat the tournament clock. Okay, make him use the pawn. He does not use it. Alright. He could just go pawn at f7. Let's see, pawn at f7. I have to take. Okay, he goes pawn at h7. Alright. Yes, that's possible, of course. Figured. The defense is gone. Yeah, I'm overstepping here. Rook takes f8. Queen at 8. Yes, he finds the mate. Alright, well done. Too slow hand there. Okay, that's second place for me in this one. Congrats to trataredeganart. Still having trouble with his name. But I will play the Lone Wolf some now. Let's see. I will play an additional 4 games against him if he is up to it as well. Thanks for the follow, Eppo. Alright, the lone wolf. Let's see who will be best in this mini match. This is called the wolf system. Typically you go e5 at some point. And then open up the bishop. And there we go already. This is Geosbolt in the Twitch chat. He asked for a match a few minutes ago. Alright, let's see. Knight takes e5. And then pawn at f5 maybe. And let's just go pawn at f5 now. And I have some time left, so I will play some games. Right, let's see. Knight takes e5 takes, pawn at h6. Does not work. So maybe taking on g6 is a bit careless. Alright. Let's go bishop f4. Get some cover here. Expecting pawn at h3, yes. This was one of the ideas as well. Try to capture h3. Thanks, Ganesh. And of course, if he takes here, I'll take with either one of these pieces. Probably the queen. Well, maybe the bishop. No, let's go with the queen. I go with the queen because then he has a rook in hand, so rook at g4 is a bit annoying if I go with the bishop. So let's pre-move this one. And the thing about this, that he does have a rook in hand then, but I have his bishop is removed from the light squares, and his light squares are a bit weakened. For example, if he gets trades in and go pawn at e6, it's already looking tough for him on the light squares. But he goes for it anyways, and he's sacrificing his rook. Okay. Knight takes g4 he wants to play, I guess. I'll have to take this. If I don't, he takes here and goes knight at h3, winning back this piece. Alright, let's see, what does he threaten? Knight f3 maybe, in some stages. I just feel like I have to go aggressive here. Threatening to take this rook and his queen, of course, but mostly this rook. So forcing some sort of reaction here. And maybe I'm leaving a lot of room for error here for black, and that's what I'm trying to do, trying to create chaos, because I feel like I've misplayed this opening a bit, so I'm down on the position. Probably the computer is saying that black will be better here, but It's not easy, and I'll try to stir up problems as much as possible. Okay, he decided to take. Okay, pawn at f5. He played knight f3 very quickly. Maybe I missed something here, but the bishop is covering h2, the queen is covering g2. And this knight did a very important job defending here. Okay. Let's see. Queen c4. I think queen g4. Let's go for it. D5. Nice move, nice move. Okay, take here. Queen c4 probably was a blunder. Alright. Rook at f7 then. Okay. King g8. It might have been. But I feel like my opponent messed this up. Bishop at f7 should mate. King can move to f6 or take h7 is mate with pawn at g6. Yeah, probably pawn. That was a better option, Ganesh. I think you were right there. Okay, but I lucked out anyway. King g8. He had to go king e8, and then I was going to go bishop at c6. Try one last shot. Alright. The lone wolf goes with e4, d4. I like to play this knight f3 and this line, knight c3 and pawn at b4. And there are some options here. You can go knight d5, you can go knight e2, you can arrest my knights with pawn at g5 or pawn at e5. You could go bishop c4, just leave this hanging and try to go for this one. But bishop at c4 runs into knight at e5, so bishop at c4 is probably not the best one. Most of the time people play knight d5, trade, then I go queen e7. Okay, but nothing of that today. Rook g1 is probably playable as well, yeah. With the idea of just letting this hang and go e5, something like that. Alright, I'll trade. And let's see. Let's take with the pawn. Pawn at d2 is a bit annoying. Yeah. I always I have that feeling as well sometimes, Ganesh. I should study some openings, but then I don't do it and just play on my lines, and sometimes I lose to well prepared people. Alright, let's see. Pawn at d2, take, runs into stuff at g7. So let's just go rook g8. Not that I know of. I don't know any ZH openings books. I think there are some people who are dedicating some studies on lead chess to certain openings, which they've checked with the help of Stockfish. That probably could be insightful. Let's see, bishop at e7 maybe. But bishop at e5 seems a bit more active. It will run into something, probably not f4, but pawn at f4, something like that. But then I will harass one of his knights. At least that is the plan. Okay. Let's just accept that this went bad for me and try to hold on for dear life. This is just so active. He could just go for f6 now if he wants. Take my queen. But I have a feeling he won't go for that. Because then he would then have all the knights in hand and try to defend with them. Knight at e6 will come, and knight at d6, just drop all the knights around my king. But still it's looking very scary, some queen sacrifice there later on. So the lone wolf is probably now calculating if knight takes f6 is worth the trouble. Maybe he'll go with some other move first. Alright, bishop c4 played. Queen takes f6. Nice suggestion in a few minutes. Because then you take with the knights after and you win the queen even. Right. Knight at g2. The knight is covering d8 and the bishop is covering e7. Okay, knight at e3, winning the bishop. And it feels like I have some control back. Ooh, I missed something here. Let's see if he finds it. That is a miss by me. Let's see if I could have done something else. Maybe rook g2. Probably was good. And then the knight at f4, bishop c5, something. Let's see if he finds it. This one. He's down. I will tell him. Maybe he had some trouble. Yeah, he feels like he got something. Queen takes e6 is just then the knight on f6 come. Queen takes e6, knight at f6. Bishop d8. Some of my numbers aren't working. Bishop d8, yes, he sees it now. The bishop then lures the king away, and then you can put a king or a queen on e8. Hi, Ominous, welcome. Alright, last game I went e4, now let's go d4. But some very sharp tactics, and nice of the chat that they see more than me. Yeah, that indeed is a classic magnet. It's a nice one to remember. The bishop check in the corners, or in this case on d8, where you lure the king back to get the mate with the queen, or you push the king up and then mate him in the middle of the board. Right. Yeah, that Ominous is referring to a casual tournament I played a few hours ago, which went really surprisingly well. Okay, knight d4 trades, then pawn at e6 to get away the defense on the g4 knight. That's one of the ideas here. So probably knight b4. Yes. Okay. Bishop b5 comes to mind. Let's just go bishop b5. Pawn c6, very quickly played. Okay. a3 then. Looking at c7. Alright, he is going to allow that. I have the feeling that bishop at g6 is coming in soon. So let's prevent that. And then look at pawn at g6, pawn at e6 later on. Bishop at g6 would have been a nice consolidating move. Let's see. Ah yes, d takes c6. Good suggestion. Should have gone for that probably. Then the bishop comes in. It's a nice intermezzo. Yeah. All right, but this is disrupting his position. Usually you could even try to go for bishop takes f5, queen takes, and a bishop at g6, but now the knight on g4 also falls, and that's probably a bit too much. That's no problem, Gresh. I like like to hear your ideas as well. All right, this is nice. Pawn at b3, nice find. If I move the queen on this diagonal, he will put the bishop on c2. So he gets this pawn. Let's just knight at g3, defends e2, attacks the bishop. I feel like going crazy with pawn at h6 or something like that, but probably it's not good. Let's just go pawn at e2. I want to take with the pawn here, because if you take with the queen, knight at h4 comes in, If you take with this pawn, knight at h3 comes in. So just fortifying my position here. Yeah, well, it was interesting, but I think black has time to put a pawn back on g7 at some stage, and then it's just fortifying black's position, basically for free. And I feel like this is a moment where I should play some defensive moves. Maybe even pawn at h3 next. Try to develop this bishop somehow. Connect the rooks and then maybe think about attacking again. Okay, a nice idea. Probably knight takes c4 takes. Then pawn at g3 maybe. Let's go for that. If he takes here, I can take back. Because there was some idea with knight at e2 and then attack f2. So therefore just dropping pawns around my king. And he goes for it. So right. Let's see. Taking with h. Wow. Sacrificing even more. Okay, if I take, and knight at g4. Then he will have no material left, but it will be scary. King h1. King h1, let's go, king h1. Try to drop a bishop on h3. Take with this one. Run into that one. Yes, okay. That's a slight mistake. Okay, bishop e3, might save. Probably does not save, but might. Rook here, yes, okay, he finds the mate. Let's just play it out. Well played. I missed pawn at d2 there. Probably had to take with the g pawn and just accept some havoc. And there you see the bishop on c1. I was commenting on it before. It was not developed and it needed to be. Alright, this will be the last game. Then I'll go catch some sleep. Bishop g4. Don't know. Okay, let's go e6. I feel like the lone wolf does well in when he can play aggressive, like you saw last game. So therefore, playing e6, trying to play it a bit safer. Bishop d7. Could also go knight takes c3 and queen d5. I do the real Gnash. Same handle, clear cast. Not that much though. But I have one video on my YouTube channel where I play some, and probably will be doing it a bit more in the future as well. Yeah, it would be nice. I don't think I've ever played with you before on chess.com or on Fix, freechess.org. Maybe you were, I don't know if you were playing when I started. Yeah, my handle was Boody, B-O-E-D-Y. I struggled in the beginning, but I managed to. Yes, that's way before me. I started in 2010, something like that. I'll type it. But at some stage, I was decent. Like 2400, 2500, something like that. Alright, take knight at e5. King e7, knight at g. Tricky. Queen f6. Knight takes d4. Okay, I'll just take and see what happens. I think knight at e5, and I can go to e7. So I don't see any mating ideas, but maybe there are. I'm just trying to call the lone wolf's bluff here, basically. Maybe I'll just go knight at f7 and cash in on these ones. Also is a good idea, I guess. Or I'm just lol, I'm just missing knight at f5. He's thinking about it at f6. I'm just busted here, basically. Knight at f5, king f6, pawn at g5. That's just over, I feel like. He's thinking about f6 takes. Probably is strong as well, but maybe it will be yeah, maybe that's good enough. Let's talk a bit. He's dropping down on the clock. Ah yes, he finds knight at f5. That's just so strong. Pawn here, I have to take. He goes queen h5 even. Okay. Let's go bishop b4. Might be useful. Might not be. We'll see. Yeah, CC's now pawn g5 was just winning, but he's still in a very commanding spot here. Probably he has me. Even just pawn g5 now and take the queen probably is enough. He finds mates. Knight b7. Good games. Alright. Thanks guys for watching. That will be it for me tonight. And I'll hope to see you soon next time. Probably another daily in a couple of days will be happening, and the Elite Arena next Saturday I will that one I will most definitely be there. So hope to see you soon. Have a good day.